cold mornings like this one that get you to the world stage. I've seen this to be true before. I've been a part of the process.
Well, they were seen as the unknown quantity coming into this World Cup, of course, Zimbabwe, but I'll tell you what, they're making headlines here.
Oh, wow. You'd have loved that.
I did love that.
And Wharton, that pressure tells. Zimbabwe come away with the ball. They've been transitioning well from back to front, and Jani with a little step in. Oh, that one, she was on the lead. We were right behind.
That's Sharon with our last goal at the Netball World Cup in Liverpool. We placed 8th in the tournament. That goal didn't feel like a consolation at all. What it felt like was a reset of expectations. Well, nobody had expected for us to make it this far. Now people wanted to know, would we make it back to this world stage again? I'm Claris Kwaramba, wing defender and vice captain for the Zimbabwe Netball team, the Gems. Sometimes, in camps like this one, I balance my netball sessions with my lectures and exams for my law degree. That's just part of what it takes for us as a team to meet the country's expectations. They want us to go back to the World Cup in 2023.
For every event that happens, you've got to appreciate the time context in which it takes place. Now, the story of the Gems is particularly interesting in it was the first time after a generation having a new government, a generation having an entirely new currency. And so the moment they got onto national consciousness, they provided the first galvanizing understanding of what nationalism is. And this is why, at that moment in time, it was so fascinating to have the Gems go to the World Cup.
Talking about these girls that are winning. Some were actually inviting each other, say, come let's watch the Gems match together, the Gems match rather, together. And it was a feeling that we had last seen with the Warriors, or it was almost a monopoly of the Warriors and the Chevrons. And now it had extended to the Gems. You know, there was another group of Zimbabweans who were, you know, providing a point of convergence for Zimbabweans, and it was a great feeling. It was an eye-opener. I think even up to now, Zimbabweans remember the Gems. Up to now, Zimbabweans remember that World Cup run, because arguably, perhaps since 1980, it's among our most successful outings as a country on the international sporting.
Team netball, they come in and we are seeing abantu abagcweleyo from all over. It's like the entire country is represented. And for me to see udadewethu that I'm like, hello, this is one of mine. Yes, they're all mine, but where I'm like, no, I'm here for it. It was so good because it showed how diverse it is and how when we all come together, siyabambana and senze izimanga uyakwazi singahlangana senze izimanga. So that's what I liked about it. I think it gave girls a chance. It said to us it's possible no matter what else, whether they're supporting you, whether they're seeing you, because for many people they were hearing about the Gems for the very first time. They didn't even know that we had a national team that was playing netball. So I think it gave each and every girl just hope that just keep doing what you're doing. Somebody is watching and the reward for you is coming and it's going to be great.
Let's not act like male sports teams don't get the greater interest from society as a general rule. But there was a lot of excitement and a lot of girl power euphoria when the netball team found itself in the UK. And that excitement was filled with a lot of curiosity, like a lot of people were asking who exactly are these ladies? Are they relatable?
Obviously, there was significant interest from women and girls. But you've got to also understand that this is a team made up of daughters with fathers who are proud. This is a team that's made up of wives with husbands who are proud. This is a team made up of sisters with brothers who are proud. So everybody, even from the male aspect, found relevance and context in what was going on as well.
I think netball became a real shining light in Zimbabwe because the ladies then went off to to the United Kingdom and competed, and everybody was like, wow, I want to be part of this. You already start attracting those things.
Coming back from the World Cup felt really good. We were like celebrities. It's like we appeared on radio stations, famous television shows, even on magazine covers.
My Star FM sounding good all the time. My name is KVG, the Queen of Drive Time, and it's definitely going down. I'm super excited. The Gems are doing it in Liverpool. They just notched up a win against Sri Lanka, and I just want you to call in. Let me know how you're feeling, how you're celebrating, because this is big for the Zimbabwe national netball team. So please link up with me right now, 0772 162 651. Let's celebrate together. Keep it right here.
How about those Gems? The Zimbabwe Netball Gems. There is so much excitement for the Gems to qualify for the 2023 World Cup after placing 8th in the last edition in Liverpool. As we draw closer to the qualifiers, the only thing running higher than fans' expectation right now is many people's ignorance, especially men, of the rules and positions of the game. Gents, come on now. It's not just about the scoreline. Learn. This way we can enjoy the game together.
A lot of people probably didn't know much about the Gems before the World Cup because we never played international matches at home.
Stoddart Stadium in Mbare is a historic venue for netball. Stoddart is right in the heart of Mbare, which is the oldest of our locations, and it just gives the girls that push to say we are coming from there, Mbare, we will get there. It kind of pushes them to make a point, to say it doesn't matter where you are coming from, but what matters really is your input and your passion and your personal input towards making the competition quality competition. Right now, Stoddart is still standing, though it needs a bit of renovation so that it can come to its old shape. If we are going to hold any international matches, that would be, I think I've not seen a stadium that is as big as Stoddart with that kind of a sitting capacity anywhere in Africa, which is just specific for netball. Other countries, they've got big, huge halls that are used for multi-sport disciplines, but we have our stadium specifically for netball, and once it gets the final touches that it needs, that will host the best games. It's an international stadium as it is. Yeah, Stoddart, Mbare, actually Mbare is intimidating. You talk of Mbare anyway in the country, you come from Mbare and they associate you with survival. People in Mbare survive. You find everything in Mbare. They know how to live with what they have, make do with what they have. So it's survival. Mbare is survival. So that spirit has got into the girls. When they leave Stoddart and go for games, they will always sing about Mbare. Dimbare Yawia, O Zasani, Dimbare Yawia. Like everyone is now coming from Mbare.
The physical state of Stoddart Stadium closely resembles the challenges that we have to stay globally competitive, especially compared to the nations that have better funding and resources. Our camps are not the most sophisticated setting and infrastructure, whether this be at Stoddart Stadium or sometimes where we can camp at Girls High School.
But the people that have got into these positions, I would want to give them credit because they've pushed their weight insofar as trying to push these sport codes to the next level with very limited funding, very limited opportunities in that sphere, because most of these sport codes are surviving from funds that are given from the international partners. These are small grants that help them to get by, qualification for World Cup and so forth. You might get a little bit of trinkets from there, but much of the funding should be coming from processes of corporates coming in to assist with sponsorship. But the sponsorship that we see most of the time is sort of donations on humanitarian basis.
You know, we talk a lot about raw talent. Talent is okay, talent is fine, but in the modern sports world, raw talent alone is just not enough.
In terms of preparation, I think the saying goes that the most prepared person is the most confident. And so preparation is everything when it comes to these big tournaments. And for the Germs, I think the biggest factors that need to be considered, or what they need to do to feel prepared, is firstly, they need to be fit. A tournament is a setup that doesn't have a lot of rest days in between. And so as a result, their fitness has to be on point. And fitness is not general. I think every sport has specifics. And so netball specific fitness would be very necessary. And then we need to upskill them so that they can be able to compete at that higher level.
Recovery is critical, obviously, to performance, especially in tournament situations, right? Essentially, athletes that can recover better are the ones that are going to be able to perform better over multiple games spread out over the several days that most tournaments are happening for. In terms of recoverability, obviously hydration is important. That's fluid intake as well as electrolytes, because you're getting enough of what you're losing essentially during the game, being able to max that at least. And obviously what you're doing after the game as well, right? So in between matches, what are we doing, right? In between, if you've got a day to recover, so in between whole games, what are we doing, right? Are we getting enough protein to be able to maintain our muscle mass, right? Obviously, muscle is important for the movement aspect of the game. Are we getting enough carbohydrates to be the fuel, essentially? Are we getting enough fat as well? So all three macronutrients are important, as well, of course, your minerals and your vitamins, your micronutrients are critical when it comes to recoverability.
What is your player pool? How much are they playing? How much are they playing that's competitive? How much are they playing that's professional? What are the results of those professional games and the game time that they're actually having? You sort of then hedge your statistical data versus what is actually being produced by the ladies. And from my understanding is that these ladies are very professional, and their club structures or their leagues or their Premier Leagues here in Zimbabwe are very well run. The ladies are buying in because most of them are playing competitively and most of the time. So that's one aspect. But as much as you're playing, are there positive results? Are they winning games? Are they doing well? Are they playing at a level that you would say is also at an international level? Your New Zealands, your South Africas, your Australias, your Jamaicas, your Trinidad, Malawi, our neighbors, Uganda. So then you start sort of trying to bring those two together and see where Zimbabwe are in terms of their leagues.
It was our first time to go for the gym, and I think if we qualify, we definitely need the gym from day one up to the last day, because I have seen some changes and I've seen that it was helping with the fitness and the flexibility and everything. So after doing some weight loss activities, the injuries got I can say the graph of the injuries, it got down, because when you are overweight, it means you are taking your knees will be taking a lot of weight of your body. But when the weight gets down, it means now the body is now proportional. So I always get the knee injuries and ankle, because they are the joints that take most of the weight from the body. So after losing some weight, I can see we can go for 3 to 4 days without any injuries, because now my team is now okay. So I can safely say now we have less injuries compared to the first time we got into camp.
Claris, what was Horror Monday?
Horror Monday.
Monday, but some of us, they decided to go to gym.
So stava pazororo takazoona kuti vasikana vanga vakuita zvemusoro wavo, tikati sevanhu vari kurasa chirayiro vanofanira kuti vashande. Saka pakazongonzi tafonirwa kunzi kujimu kwaita space, tikati munhu ngaende anoshanda. Saka muri kuona vanhu vakangoita jakara. vanhu vangomuka.
Isu kana tati off day munhu wopinda mujimu, kana watopinda mujimu takutoita zvemujimu ende tese takutoshanda zvemujimu.
Musi weMonday tichifanira kuita light work asi takazoshanda. Pakazoshandwa chaiko takadikitira.
The competition for places in the senior national team squad is intense, but the game starts off being competitive at pretty early stages of high school. My home is in Manicaland, close to where we live in Mutare, but I did my high school in Masvingo.
Sekuti Claris nditongoti mwana wangu second born yangu, but hapana munhu anga achimboita zvemasports wandingati ndaiti ndikakurudzira, but iye akazoratidza kuti ane chipo chekutamba netball, but inini pachangu ndasambozviisa mandiri kuti ndingati mwana wangu anoita zvemasports. Ndandiri munhu anotongofarira wake kuti munhu aita chipo chake ndofanira ndimusapota. Then tiri papo pane maschools akawanda ari around Penalonga Tusvingo maanodzidza imomo. Akatanga kuda maservices ake like St. Augustine's akambotora kuda kumutora. Then there's a school iri mubocha inonzi St. Andrews yeRoman Catholic futi yakamboda kumutora futi, but ini school yacho yanga isiri kuti ndikati ischool yakada kufanana neTusvingo and ndakuda kufarira. Then pakazoita ma-interest futi pamushana yaimuda, but kuti wataura neTusvingo pachikoro vaidzidza vairamba kuti vanikonda kuti tisangane pamushana titaurirana kuti mwana aende. Saka I remember rimwe zuva ndatoenda wangu kuchikoro ndichitofambirwa ndaifambira headmaster handisi kuti akafungidzira kuti ndonga ndakanzwa nezvenyaya yekuti mwana ariwa nepamushana, but inini hazvisi zvona ndafambira pasikuru. Saka ndichisvika paya akabva atotanga kuti no baba mwana wenyu ari kutamba netball zvakanakisa pano pachikoro, saka toda kutomupa scholarship. Tobva gore rineri ari form 2 second term achabhadhira school fees. Izvo zvinobva atodrafta tsamba yake paya kanzi toendai computer lab. Izvozvi monoona kuti hameno certain teacher wakataura tsamba yenyu yotonyorwa tobva tori kudhindirai tsamba achibva panapa achaisa pachikoro atoenda netsamba yake achabhadhira school fees. Then ndo pakabva paita mukana wekuti wekupamushana vaya vadi vachitaura nemwana manje vachimubvunza kuti toda ma-conduct details ani ababa wako. 2015 year, that was around August September ipapa kwauchizofonerwa nakochi wake anonzi Simbara Shimlambo pamushana. No baba toda mwana kuti auye afunde kuchikoro. Kati ini mafees epamushana inini ndingamagono here ini. Zvikanzi imi mamukwanisa kubhadhira mari. Ndikati ndingakupromisi kuti ndinokwanisa kubhadhira anything because izvozvi paari kufunda atori pascholarship. Zvikanzi hamukwanisi kana kubhadhira kana mbichana yenyu chete. Ndikati ina handikwanisi. Zvikanzi alright, saka okay, it's okay, but uniform unokwanisa kutenga here. Ndikati uniform ndotenga. Zvikanzi saka mwana ngauye kuchikoro. Indakagara hangu panze ndakamirira kuti mwana adi akiliwe. Mbva rasvika kuna headmaster kunzi ime Claris ari kuenda kutora transfer. Claris basa rese rakamira kuheadmaster vanenge ati maqueries echimusiwo zvakambomira. Headmaster vamva vabuda panze ndashedzwa. Instead kuti achitaura neni paya nenyaya yaClaris haana kutanga kutaura izvozvo, akatanga kutopopota. Mudhara uyu haanzwisisi. Takamuudza kuti mwana wake akapasa panapa ari kunda atodikwa neMutare Poli chichi. Ngaaende ikoko anonofoira. Yes, pakataura zvakawanda indangonyarara because ndasina chekutaura ipapo. Right, zvikanzi no problem. Siyaende. Zvikanzi right, tikuda passport yedu. Ndikati alright, passport yenyu iri kumba, but haisi nyaya indodi anonouya nayo.
I really appreciate how protective he was over me in navigating the high school stage, which is typically the break or make stage for many players.
The fastest on her feet, I think, since she has been the youngest in the Gems team and the vice captain, she has shown so much an ability to just adapt from goal defense to wing defense. She has really matured as a player, and she never gives up. I like that resilience and agility that she has, and she's just so able to get one of those passes. No matter how short she looks, she still gets the rebound.
Sharon was also spotted as a talent from a young age.
Test science yakazoya akunopedza grade 5 akuma grade 6 takatozona umwe musi ndandiripo musi wacho maybe I was off duty from work, then ndiri pamba pepa ndibva ndaona auya akabata a loaf of bread nemakascade aya, then ndibva ndatovhunza mumwe vachiona akubvunza kuti wazviona kupi zvinhu izvi, where do you get these things from? Chiro akati tapiwa nevepikasini. How? Zvikanzi mama ndotamba bhora, saka bhora ndichitamba revepikasini vauya kutate matournaments anga ari pachikora apa, saka vepikasini vaya patangopedza kutamba chete ndovatipa rochine makascade ndozvaitika mama kanzo. Saka the following day vakabva vazonzi kuchikoro kuya nokudiwa mwana wenyu ari kutamba bhora, saka tine tournament yatakunoita samwe patiri kubuda muchi ndiri muno mumudzi wasiye patikutambira auchita kusitwa nepikasini samwe ndopakazoenda paipai vazondiudza kanzi ndonyanda ndaendera kuchikoro shuwa mwana nezuro paakaenda paipai nepikasini vakavapa chinhu zveshe. Saka mwana anenge andotamba bhora, bhora rakamboita sei iro bhora ratokutamba, ndo mafambiro zvaita.
Look at that, into the circle. Oh, and she sinks it. Bwanali.
Sharon Bwanali, she is very difficult to mark and so innovative, so agile. She's got this way of just studying her opponent, that first minute, that first center pass. You know, she's one of a kind, and she has grown up in leaps and bounds, and she's doing so well as far as ball control is concerned. She's very much a sure shooter. I actually think the sky is not the limit for her. She's still got a long way to go, but she's a joy to watch and very reliable goal shooter and goal attack all the same.
It was 2001 tanga tiri kuzivarasekwa ndo kwataigara, then Sharon was doing his grade 4 grade 5 pazivarasekwa primary school, then aiti akaenda kuchikoro most of the time akudzoka paipai anenge achingotamba bhora remaplastic paper balls achiuya kumba chase. Saka na mai vomubvunza kuti inda kunonoka nhasi tachitamba bhora mama tachitamba bhora. Inisa baba ndaita ndasina kana pressure nazvo, ndasina kana problem nazvo kuti mwana anotamba risina zita isembo zvichitawo mastages yawo tinomasvika tichizoita sei. Saka but nyaya yanga kuna amai uko, amai vaitoexpecta kuti achinguya chiti patageze mapurisi, achinguya tageze mapurisi ofishi ndababa ndaikuti achiri mudiku. Saka vaimbomuti ngorupa but nekufamba kwenguva vakapesa vazozviona kuti ndikanimusiya chita zvaroita.
Sometimes there is a tension when players chase their dreams of playing the sport.
Saka nyaya yangu yakatanga kunetsana naTanaka nekundera kuti aite maths, aite zvimwe zvinhu, but Tanaka anga asingade manje, aida sport. Takanetsana zvokuti ndakatosvika pakutogumbuka tikatoda kuti itiwo profession inoita uverengekewo udarikewo inini, asi akatadza kundinzwa nenyaya yekuda sport. Svikira kwatozoya manager vake akunzi aende kuFC Platinum, but pekutanga akambotambira inonzi Better Breaks. Achienda ina asingade, mbuya vake ndovaingoti siya mwana ndichiramba. Saka pazoya manager vake veFC Platinum
vakataura vakati aiwa sei mwana aende ndopane talenti yake makadaro makanganisira mwana akaenda ndakatsamwa zvishuwa ndisingatodi kuti aende sofa tikada kukombera kune vanotambira kunze nevanotambira muzimbabwe ndikuona kuti isusu tichakasara mari dzacho dzavanowana dzichiri shoma saka taingoti dai zvangoita kuitira kuti vakwanise kuzoraramisawo mhuri dzavo because vari kukura vana vachada zvamafamily dzavo vachada zvinhu zvavo saka sofa nemamiriro akaita sport yemuno muzimbabwe I think paida kuti pagadziriswe mbichana zvingoenderanawo nekunze ungoziva kuti tichitoti munhu ari kubasa ari kusevenza saka zvinosevenza vananga zvioneke.
Again, defensively, just Zimbabwe. Brilliant.
She was playing a goalkeeper all this while. I think she was a bit not so comfortable going out and playing a bigger space. Since then, she's really done so well, and she's got this jump that she takes the ball even behind her opponents, and her ability to just read that pass and play. And of late, she's doing so well at playing defense, which is something remarkable.
So manje ku platinum manje ndakataura nema managers everything. Takapedzerana but kunokumbana ndisina kutaura kuti ndasina kutaura kuti ndawana team kuzvishavani kusvika manager vabva kuzvishavani kuya kunoko vauya ndaitobva kuchechi sunday yacho vandifonera taakutopinda munotoni ndakati alright bva watosvika pakarina vana novatambira kusvika kwavakaita ndakasvika navo kunokumba svikakumba kunoko ndopa ndakatanga kuti start nyaya yangu kudza vana mama ofuchira nga ritori day rekuti ndinofanira kunge ndatiwa kuzvishavani so ava vanhu vekuna ndatopedza navo zvese kuti ndouya indisina kudza maparent then mama vangu vanga vasingadi ende vanga vasingadi sport because vanga vanewo madreams avo zvavaishuvira pamusoro pangu so gogo vangu ndo vakazongodecidawo kuti regai adini aiendi hatizoziva kuti achanoita sei zvichamubatsira but chishuviro chagogo vangu changa chiri chekuti ndiende kuchikoro ndinyorere ndipasi
svikira aenda ndizoona ndateerwa nevamwe coach venational team vakanditiregera mwana aende kuti ari kunzi aroende kuengland paakazoenda kuengland ari kunzi aende havasi vese vanokwanisa kusvika palevel iyoyo siya mwana aende ndakagumbuka ndikazongomusiya akaenda ndakatozongogutsikana mandatangamona patv achibuda patv ndichiona vanhu vese pandafamba pese kumashops ndichienda kubasawo ini ndiri nesi pane chienda kubasa makuseni ndikapfuura nevanhu pamanewspaper vanenge vachiverenga manewspaper maheadlines vai tozwa amai vatanaka amai vatanaka amai vatanaka mawindi ndopa ndatoona kuti inga zvinotoita nditoona kuti andaka ndakutomonawo manewspaper ini manewspaper ndatozoita kufonerwa nevanhu waona here mwana wako ari munewspaper ari muherald nhasi waona here mwana wako ari muchi kutosvika ndakutotengawo manewspaper naasikatengi ndakutochekawo zvimapicture zvenezvo zvine histori yake ndotonolaminatesawo for history avero pamberi apo ati kurei vamwe anenge akuzozvona kuti ndakatolaminatesa.
Two things drive players to commit with the sport. Firstly is the pure love for the game. Then is the hopes that the game provides a decent living. A lot of players are waking up to the growth of the game worldwide and the opportunities it could create for the players at the forefront of emerging revenue streams. A lot of us want in on this.
So massive opportunity for the players themselves, because what that did is it exposed them to a global audience. So previously, where if they're playing in Zimbabwe, they're quite limited in terms of who is actually seeing these players, great as they may be. A couple actually managed to get some very good contracts. Take a look at Felicitas Kwangwa, who's now playing for Surrey Storm, those kinds of things. And she's also got a sponsorship with Gilbert now. They were able to design a Felicitas Kwangwa ball for her. So that kind of coverage is very good for individuals.
Athletes need financial literacy just as much as any other person in society. In fact, they need to grasp it sooner in their lives because their careers are so short-lived. So many athletes in Zimbabwe haven't been able to sustain their livelihoods over the gift of long lifetimes. We see it time and time again, athletes who peak in their careers, but they have absolutely nothing to show for it years down the line. So the gems not only need to capture the moment to earn as much in the present, but they need to extend their income streams into other investments that carry on into the future.
Are seeing at the forefront. But I feel people like the gems, the ladies who are like the gems, who have a very powerful story to tell. These are ladies who I feel, if given the right platform, could actually take that story to that mother who's in the township, who is wanting to, build herself up, who's wanting to run her stall, selling her wares. That girl child who's in school, who is facing so many kinds of pressures. A lot of our girls are getting married too young, too early, getting too sexually active. And yet, when we look at the story of the gems, and if you encompass and incorporate some of those disciplinary issues that they have to go through, the rules and regulations, how to keep your mind focused, that kind of talk coming from someone who is from my area, from my neighborhood, who's got a similar face to me and is talking to me about what they have done so that they could go to the World Cup. I feel that is the kind of person who would be a very good role model.
Finding brand ambassadors is quite the task for a lot of companies, not just because of the financial value that you're supposed to get out of it, but also because there are a lot of people who are, getting onto the social media influencer brand ambassadorship vibe. It's really mostly about marrying the personality with the brand. I would say that the gems can definitely and obviously become brand ambassadors, but it's more about how they carry themselves, because when a company is looking for brand ambassadors, they really look for people that align with their goals and their values.
For most players, being a gem isn't an end goal. It's just part of the path in our sport to satisfy our expectations from home. Sometimes, this individual pressures within the team causes fractures, as the team may have divergent personal goals. Where most of us are from and what we have to lose not making the squad makes the competition within the team fierce.
My understanding of the assignment with the Gems was that the Gems were a group of talented young girls that had done some great exploits at the previous World Cup and were showing a lot of potential. But they needed someone to come in and help them with understanding how to be a better team. What I found there was that whilst the talent was there and whilst the strength of the team in general was there, it was people that had different goals and different motives, and there was a lot of mistrust. People didn't know each other that well, and it was all about just these girls who, were there because they knew they deserved to be there. But there was nothing really that brought them together to become a cohesive force. But when you look at each other, you must see, no, I need this person and this person needs me. Perfect. And so trust.
During camp, we had people that we looked up to visiting us and giving us encouragement.
Just focus on your vision. To me, it is very important that people focus on vision and purpose.
By the time we left for the World Cup qualifiers in South Africa, we had bonded so much. We could go for trips to sites like the Heroes Acre, public museums, but we never forgot our nation's expectations.
If the Gems go deep, qualify for the World Cup and progress, it's going to be an explosion around the country. It's going to be, those delirious celebrations that we always watch on TV, people hooting in the cars, people dancing, because Zimbabweans are ready to celebrate.
The final team was pretty young, with over half the team from 2019 not being here anymore. Joyce the vet on the squad met us in South Africa. That was going to be a huge factor on the outcome of the tournament.
Yeah, Joyce, the last time that she was with the team was, I think, one tournament after the World Cup in 2019. So it's more, she was last with the team in late in 2019. And then now she comes back, that's 2 years later. She finds new faces in camp, and because of travel arrangements, travel logistics, she can't join the team in camp. She joins the team at the tournament. And that, mentally, they were not on the same level.
When I arrived, it's like everyone was calling me Joy, welcome, but still not knowing who exactly this one was. But yeah, I was a little bit happy, but still not knowing their names was difficult to call to say, hey you, or to ask anyone because I didn't know their names.
There's a fascinating picture which I took of Joyce where in the first game the team is huddled up together, but at the other side you can see her all by herself on an island alone on the court. And that picture captures at the moment in time what was going on with the disconnect between Joyce and the rest of her teammates at that time.
World Cup qualifiers were beyond the games. It was all about the destiny of the three coaches. When the final squad was announced, the entire netball family had a lot of questions about the selection, and now it was time to justify.
First game, I was really scared because of my injuries. I was really scared, and I think the nerves took over. So yeah, I was losing balls, and yeah, it was a disaster first game.
Now, even she's hard on herself from her performance in the first game, but look, if you look at it from an analytic point of view, she was like on a 90% scoring rate, which is very high for a goal shooter. But the issue is sometimes when you're being compared to your own reputation, there's an analysis that is biased towards your performance. Now, as the group stages were going, you could tell that everybody was stepping up. I mean, this is reflected by the fact that I think for 2 games, you had Tafadzwa win the player of the match. And then the other game, you had Beulah winning the player of the match as well.
Some great performance from the side of Zimbabwe. They have a current clean sweep. They've won all their matches so far, 3 out of 3. And with whatever injuries that they've incurred, they've been able to sustain as well as adapt to certain lineups that they were forced into.
One thing that we saw during the tournament as we were now watching the girls was how committed they all became to the whole process and to the whole team in itself.
It all came to Zambia game. We fancied our chances, but with winner take all. You never know.
Literally, just when I thought it's all systems go, Musonda does a good job just to swing behind the back of Takayeta to turn at mid-court and at goal shooting third. So Musonda ready to come on in that goalkeeper position for Zambia. Gently, she brings that height into the shooting circle. Give herself opportunity to contest for those over balls that are being thrown to Takayeta. Lovely offload from Wala, from Musonda and intelligence as well. You know, she keeps Takayeta on the edge of the circle. That's what you want. You want to keep her away from the comfort zone. And this is the time to start. So immediately now, Takayeta is outside of the circle. Get behind her immediately. Don't allow her to find that position that she wants. On the base.
Contact goalkeeper, penalty on the side. Now goalkeeper, you're out on the side. Not with me on the side, goalkeeper with her.
Right knee, and you can see that she's trying to minimize her movement as much as she can. Just as long as she continues thinking those.
Chekutanga ndakango zvisa mubrain dzangu kuti this game tinofana kuri winner and tori winner sei ndo zvakakosha. Inini ndaiziva kuti Zambia inotamba sei. They are very fast kushooting kwavo, mid yavo iri slow, defense yavo iri a bit slow, but kushooting kwavo ndokuri very fast. So zvatakaziva ndezvongoti isu tofana kumaka bhora reZambia pakati, and tagona kumaka pakati tawina and taqualify. So ivo vakatinakidza nokuti vakateerera zvataifunga isusu, vakandobva vatamba bhora redu instead rekuti vatambe ravo. Substitution yatakaita isati hatina kusabhura, ivo ndo vakasabhura, vangoona mamiriro akaita timu yedu. Saka obvious game plan inenge yatochinja kana watodaro. So tinobva tati imi mabvuma kuti chii isusu tatokutyai. Ndo patakatora advantage ipapo, nokuti ivo vakazotamba zvavasina kuplana. Zvavanga vakaplana ndobva zvaenda mudondo. Isusu ndobva tangomaka bhora redu pakati ndobva tavawina, ende ndo mawiniro atakaita game.
This time around, I think Coach Mtsauki's coaching tactics, he was actually on point. And the other advantage that we had this time around, this idea of having 3 coaches, I think for me it works really well, because of the 3, they have different strengths. So if you look at Tatenda Shinya, for me, if you are looking for someone who can start the game within 2 minutes, plot against the rival within a minute, my guy is Tatenda Shinya. If you are looking for someone who can give you a classy game a smart game, you go to Simbarashe Mlambo. And then, if you need the voice of reason, the mastermind, you go to Msaoki. So for me, the combination of the three is actually a dynamite for me.
I set the pace in the first 2.5 quarters. And when I came out, I was like, let me come out so that another GS can shine too. Since we are leading, I know they were not going to return all those 8 goals we were leading with. So yeah, I was so happy when I was sitting outside and I was cheering, and I'm so happy that all these young girls were listening to me or just giving advice. I didn't want to show off like, yeah, I know everything because I'm the eldest, but they were listening to me saying, we want to learn from you. So I was really impressed, not knowing that they were actually looking up to me.
Oh, I can't even express my feelings. I'm overwhelmed. I'm so happy and proud that I have made my country to qualify to the World Cup, which is a great honor to me as a coach, a big achievement, I can say, to me as a coach, to help the team qualify to the World Cup.
Inini ndiri kunyanya kufara neperformance yeteam. They played as a team and vakagona kuziva meaning yeteamwork and vakashanda as a team, and I'm very happy.